And here. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to our team mock draft series. Today we have the Dallas Cowboys, Danny's favorite team. 7 rounds, like always. We're just picking the Cowboys. If we feel the need to trade, we will make a trade, but we'll find out. I don't know if we're gonna try to do that or not. So go ahead and get it started. And how we doing, guys?
Doing well. I mean, I'm just ready to take on my favorite team. Obviously, if you guys have been following the channel, you know I'm a little bit of a Cowboys homer at times, but yeah, I'm just ready to get this going. 2020 NFL mock draft, Dallas Cowboys, 7 rounds. Butch, you have anything to add?
Got to get those SEO triggers.
Yeah. Start her up. We don't need to recap. We haven't been recapping like every single pick, but we can just kind of go through it. So you see your first 3, probably the main 3, and then we kind of mess around with the tackles, a little Tua action, and just we'll let it go because it's probably going to be pretty similar to what everyone else is making their mock drafts. You got the DeAndre Swift going 14. Alrighty, so we're up here with 17. As you can see, the team needs on the left for the Cowboys if you're watching on YouTube. If not, you're on podcast. We'll read them off here. So we got cornerback, edge rusher, safety, inside O-line, and I'm not going to read the rest. Danny, do you think those are sort of in order, or kind of how do you rearrange those if they're not in order?
See, with the signing, like obviously Aldon Smith, you can't really like rely on mostly simply because he hasn't played in a few years. But I think they'd made that move specifically to sort of cover their asses in the first round. Now, if they hadn't done that, it would have been a smash chase on for me. But because of that, I'm looking at the fact that Herbert's on the board. I feel like we can really get value for him at this point. Again, looking at those team needs, I would probably place receiver higher up simply because we have absolutely no number 3 receiver at this point in the cycle. I mean, we're expecting a guy like Cedric Wilson to really take that next step. I think the Cowboys really set it up to target a slot receiver within the first 3 rounds. So we'll see how everything unfolds. But yeah, other than that, I mean, safety would probably be higher than edge.
I see one spot we can hit here. So the Patriots are at 23. They don't have a second round pick, but they do have a couple thirds and I think 5th and 6th. So try getting a trade started with them. Let's see what we can see if we can hop back like
the Dolphins too.
That's true, and I think the Dolphins they got
Mekhi Becton at 5.
But I don't think they would rush if they're not taking Tua, who was there. They're obviously not going to rush to take Herbert. Is kind of my thinking on that. Yeah. You did a 1 to 3. I think that's pretty realistic.
Yeah, see if realistic.
That's hopefully they do this.
Boom.
Okay, so we'll just go after their other 3rd round pick then.
Yep, sounds good to me. Because ultimately, you go back 6 spots, you're still going to get a guy that would help right away. We'll keep trying here. They have so many 3rd round picks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when we did their mock draft, it was tough because they're all later picks. And we're just going to keep trying here. I
mean, maybe we could plug.
I don't know if I would go any lower than that, to be honest.
Yeah, give him a 5 because I'm not too worried about. This isn't going to be super realistic, I guess. People probably realize that by now.
Yeah.
All right, so we move back 6
first
spots.
And a 5 for a first and a 3rd.
Yep. So we'll let it keep rolling here. They went Herbert. That actually kind of worked out. And we're coming back up here.
That would have been funny.
And literally every single person that I think we would have taken just got taken. But there is Justin Jefferson there. Ultimately, if this was the case, do you think they would not reach on him? But do you think they would maybe go not a high need for him, or they would maybe wait?
See, obviously, again, like we mentioned Jason, I'm looking at a guy like Zach Bond here, who I'm an absolute fan of. And I feel like a guy like Mike Nolan could really take out the versatility of a guy like that. I mean, you could plug him in at Sam on 1st and 2nd down. He can rush off the edge on 3rd downs. But again, I mean, we have a similar player in that regard in Aldon Smith now. So again, we can look at it like there's a prime receiver on the board, another quarterback. Maybe we could target even a later team and see if they're willing to trade up. So what are you guys' thoughts on this spot?
I think if you're going to compare the other edge rushers, that would be a 1st-round grade. I don't think Gross Matos and Epinesa would fit what the Cowboys kind of want to do with a player like an edge. So I think Baum would probably be my pick. I was ultimately going to go DB, but all 4 of them went and Chase on.
Yeah.
So I think Baum would be the pick for me unless we want to reach on a
Terrell
or someone.
What about Ruiz?
I wouldn't do it personally, simply because I think the Cowboys really they invested a 3rd rounder in Connor McGovern last year, and a couple years ago when Frederick didn't play, Joe Looney fit in just fine. So I mean, between those 2 guys, you really have not necessarily like obviously it's going to be a need. You're losing a good franchise center, but I mean they have places on their offensive line to really like help the load, even if they have that little bit of downgrade at the center spot. So I wouldn't necessarily invest first round capital in a center if I'm the Cowboys personally.
I'd say Bond probably to.
Yeah, Bond's probably
Yeah.
the pick then.
I love Bond.
can-
So
we
I'm
can
all for
target-
this.
We can target a guard or center maybe in that third round with a guy like Robert
Yeah.
Hunt or Hennessy or someone.
A guy like Bond here, I mean, you could play him at Sam on first and second downs if you're not running your nickel packages, and then he can absolutely come off the edge. I mean, my comparison for him was Clay Matthews, simply because he offers you so much versatility. And we saw with Clay Matthews started his career, he's played inside linebacker and pitches, rush off the edge. I really love Zach Bond. So, I mean, I'm super, super glad to get a guy like that at 23.
For
Yeah,
sure.
bump
So
into,
Ruiz
Jamie Collins.
actually went 26 there.
Yeah. that's
So
good.
on Ruiz, we'll just talk about him while it kind of goes here. I feel like he's gaining a lot of traction, even to go maybe higher than the late 20s. What do you guys? Where do you think ultimately he will land come in 3 weeks?
I
he
think
goes
it
top
could.
25.
Sorry, I was about to mention that. I think it could be a similar situation to what we saw with Chris Linderholm last year, where a team say they miss out on the top tackles on the board, and he's the best lineman available to them. A team like I know Bush may not like this, but I can even see a team like the Bucks taking a chance on him.
I don't think they would.
I mean,
But yeah, what we're trying,
Yeah.
I think what we're
Have
trying
Alex
to get at
Kappa
here
and
is
Ali Marpet, so I don't think
that's
they would
true.
do that.
I mean, what are your thoughts on Kappa? I mean, I haven't really like watched the team extensively to really get a full grade on him, but I know Marpet's a fantastic guard. So, what are your thoughts on Kappa?
Kappa he's a D2 guy, and he played. I believe PFF ranked him as the best weakest link because he was the lowest graded offensive lineman on the
Which is a
Bucs
good thing,
starting
yeah.
offensive
Yeah.
line, but he was the best weakest link among the entire league. So I think it was only in his second year from a D2 school. I think he's going to be even better this year. The interior offensive line is not really a concern at all for me.
he was better than Garrett Bowles. He ranked him. So we're back up here on our pick at 51 here. I think, yeah, you went right to corner. That's what I was looking at. To me, it's AJ Terrell or Damon Arnett. I don't know kind of how Cowboy corners, which one would fit better in there. So I'll let you kind of just take that.
Both those guys kind of fit the mold of what the Cowboys look for. The Cowboys look for big name starting talent, like regardless. Like even I'm looking at here, they're not going to take Jalen Johnson because they don't really believe in the pro. But they don't. I look at the Cowboys' overall history. They don't take guys that aren't in like huge schools. I mean, Utah's a great program, but I could just see the team just looking at the bigger name guys like the Clemson, the Ohio State, and really taking that guy there. I mean, we've seen it in the past plenty of times, but to me here, I probably would take Terrell. Sorry, they're all kind of in the same tier for me. I just personally probably would have it go Terrell, Arnett, Dancer, then Johnson personally. But what are your guys' thoughts on this spot?
I mean, I'll let Bush kind of pick because I think either. So we can kind of play the 2-1 odds here.
So to me, in terms of my corner rankings, I have Arnett quite a bit ahead of Terrell.
Okay, I'm fine with Arnett.
Yeah, to me, Arnett's the better player. But again, like Lukas said, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I don't exactly know what kind of corners that they favor. So if it was me, it would be Arnett. But I think who is the slot corner for the Cowboys? They kind of have that locked up because I think Arnett has inside-outside versatility.
I was going to say they have Anthony Brown. They have Jordan Lewis. Like they have guys that can play inside and out right now. To me, like Byron Jones really offered that like stud outside lockdown type of corner. And I mean, Arnett to me is the best outside comparing the two. So yeah, what are you thinking here? Are you thinking Arnett?
I would go Arnett if it was
I
me.
agree.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So now we have 2, maybe 3. I think they only had 1 third-round pick, but now we do have 2. So we'll kind of let it roll here to see. I think ultimately we could look at the receiver spot here since you did mention they need a third receiver. I don't even know where the third-round pick is, but
that if we had taken a corner in the first round, I was looking at a guy like Hamler to really be a good fit there. But again, like because we didn't address corner in the first round and we had a good group of guys available there, I just think we had to take corner. But if we had gone corner first round, I definitely would have considered Hamler there. Now we're looking off the board. Obviously, that tier of receivers is most likely gone, like the Hamlers and those guys.
But a guy like Brian Edwards, would you think that'd be something they address?
Personally, I love Brian Edwards. I mean, he's my wide receiver 9 in this whole class. So, I mean, I love the value of getting him here. Again, see, the thing is, you're looking at a guy like Brian Edwards, like he's a good complement. Again, Bush's analogy of building like a basketball team. He's like that physical touchdown threat, while you got the contested catch guy in Michael Gallup, and you got the pure route runner in Amari Cooper. So I think he'd be a great fit to that corpse. You guys have any input? I like Brian Edwards a lot personally.
One thing I wanted to mention is, can you go to the safeties real quick? Because I think this board's still very strong. So I don't know if there's. Okay, I was gonna say I love J.R. Reed and Antoine Brooks, but
just go to all the positions.
Duggar and Jeremy Chin went off the board already, and if either of them were there, I would have suggested those guys. But
overall board. Go to all, yeah. So I think you mentioned there's a lot of receivers there that I think we could even wait till the later, because a guy like Tyler Johnson, Duvernay, they're still all there. I was going
to mention, I think even Akeem Davis-Gaither is worth mention, but we do have a later third-round pick. So, I mean, if he's there at the later third-round pick, I wouldn't even be opposed to taking a guy like that. So,
okay, my vote would be on receiver. You know who my vote is. You said your wide receiver 9's Brian Edwards. Mine's Van Jefferson. That would be my vote. But you need a slot guy, right? So, to me, Brian Edwards projects more as an outside guy.
But the thing with the Cowboys is that we're not necessarily like constricted to taking a pure slot guy, simply because Amari Cooper has the versatility to play inside and outside. So again, like obviously you would prefer that speedy slot receiver. Like again, like say we weren't taking receiver here and we ended up with a Devin Duvernay in the fourth, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But for me, Brian Edwards is just the clear top guy on my personal board. And again, having a guy like Amari Cooper offers you so much versatility in how you're going to prepare the room around him. So, Brian Edwards out of the receivers here would be my pick. But again, like, would you guys?
I would choose Edwards over Jefferson, and you're going to need someone to play the outside for like 8 of those games that Cooper's hurt. So that would be like the easy pick for me. I think he has the most potential to be. He's this low in rankings because he got hurt, which is the stupidest way to move a player down in rankings, because it's not like he's getting worse at football. He's just not going to get drafted high because he's hurt. And obviously with the whole situation of medicals and stuff right now, he's lower. But I think he has the most upside out of this group shown, because I think he can be a true one with the potential he has compared to, anyone on this board. Like even like a Devin Duvernay, that'd be a good fill-in piece, but how high is his ceiling compared to like a Brian Edwards?
And as
He's got a bit of Chris Godwin in him.
I was about to mention
Brian Edwards has a bit.
Yeah.
As much as I love Michael Gallup, I mean, you guys have heard me harp on him for the longest time. He's still not signed long-term. Like after this year, he will be a free agent. So, I mean, that's definitely a spot where like a guy like Brian Edwards could be your more of a long-term too, in case, like say hypothetically, we aren't able to bring him back, which obviously I would. Obviously, I would want to prefer to keep him, but again, it kind of covers your bases a little bit more here. So to me, Brian Edwards is the pick.
I'd say take him. Or we could probably go best available on defense at our pick 100 or whatever it is that I remember.
I already know who I want if he's there.
Yeah, so we got Jonathan Grenard. It's a guy Tyler really likes. Troy Pride Jr.
Davis Gaither's off the board.
Yeah, that was my guy. To be fair, though, we did take Zach Bond, now that I think about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, I'd just go to all here. So we could reach on we could go down to safety and take a guy like your J.R. Reed. Troy Dye still is there. I don't know if that necessarily fits what they need, but there is injury concerns a little bit with Van Der Esch. I don't know if Sean Lee's still there on like a 1-year deal, whatever the case may be. Jalen Smith just got signed. I don't really know where to go with this. So if you guys have anything that sticks out.
Look, personally, again, we signed Poe. If we hadn't have had Poe, I would have taken Lecky Fodu here. But again, let's look over the board. You got a lot of slot corners. Again, we already took corner. I think most of the corners we have in our room are slots. Slot versatility, sorry. So I wouldn't look at corner here.
Can we see when we pick next? Like if you go to my picks, does that show like our next pick? No,
it does not. But I know this is our second, third. We won't pick until the mid fourth. So kind of like
traded our 5 too. So
yeah.
So I would say if you do like J.R. Reed, I don't know why. I would say reach on him, not reach, but I would say go get him maybe earlier than he normally would be going.
See, I'm looking at Bradley and I here as just such a value at this point, though. But we did
there's a lot of edges there that are like I think all really good. Like even all the way down to like Nick Coe or Anthony Jennings.
I hate Anthony Jennings. I hate Anthony Jennings personally.
What's interior O-line looking like? Is there any good depth there? Nick Harris is on the board. So is Biotis.
Yeah.
I like both
Again.
of those guys to be, because you said you drafted McGovern in the 3rd round, and Joe Looney's proven he's been able to start in situations, but having a guy that can play either guard or center in a pinch, like, because that was Looney before, and without Frederick now, that you don't really have a guy that can step in case like Martin were to go down, for example.
That's true. I would think of one of those guys a lot. Like, again, I also I like Kayvon Wallace too. I just think he's got a lot of potential. He fits what Dallas is looking for in terms of a safety. I'm a big program guy. Obviously, like you saw at times, he was a little bit inconsistent on the back end, which is probably why he's going to be available here. I just think again, I like him, but I'll leave it to you guys too. What are you guys thinking here? Because I can go.
I really don't even know.
Like,
I would say to fill a need, I would go safety. So I think I would take whoever you guys think at safety, because I don't think adding I don't know. I just think filling the need here would be way more important, because we traded back for a reason. So you might as well trade back and get depth at positions of need, because that defense does need help if they really are trying to be a contender. So I think I would go safety, which I like Reed better than the other guys on the board as of now.
Yeah. Okay. See, do you think he'll be available with our next pick? Oh,
I don't even know when our next pick is. So I would say just reach on him.
I mean, we could check right now in terms of like if we traded. Our next pick is 123. I think there's a good chance he's on the board then.
I would pick personally. Then I would pick Nick Harris.
Okay, I'm down for it.
Because I think there's a couple other safeties there that are comparable. I think Antoine Brooks Jr. is good as well, and I also like Brandon Jones quite a bit as well.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll keep a track on the left side to see if any safeties go. So far, none have gone. Jake Fromm to the Redskins, leading them to another 1 in 15 year. Antonio Gibson to the Browns. Like so Kayvon Wallace, Brandon Jones.
Snipe, yeah.
We're getting there. Are we gonna get him?
Yeah, you got J.R. Reed.
Let me check quickly at linebackers too.
Another plotter for the Colts.
What's our
I would say go J.R. Reed. I would not wait.
Yeah, let's just hope that Davion falls.
Well, you also took Zach Vaughn, right? So
yeah, that's true.
You do have a guy who can play off the ball.
We do need to address the tight end position, I think. As much as we think Blake Jarwin's going to break out, you can't.
I mean, he did sign for $8 million a year, so I don't think the Cowboys.
You can't roll into the season with just him, though. I guess is what you got to have depth at.
I guess, but you have Dalton Schultz as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I'd say J.R. Reed here if we were going to think about taking him at the last pick.
Yeah, that's what I would pick as well.
All righty. I like all the funny picks. That's what I like keeping track of on the left.
Thad Moss.
James Morgan, 132.
Ooh,
damn.
Alberto too.
McFarland taking over Aaron Jones' job. I love that.
Lynn Bowden on the Steelers. That'd be fun. What did I say? 163.
Hey, there's your Seattle running back, AJ Dillon to the Seahawks.
Basically, Chris Carson.
Davion Taylor.
We're coming up here on the pick. How do you guys kind of want to take this? Is there a certain spot we should look, or a certain player you're kind of looking for? Or?
Best player available, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like we kind of filled up the core needs.
Picking a tight end.
Breakout is with Tom
like
Brady.
8 of them.
Okay, so you're looking.
Javelin Goodrie's a really good player. Like a really good player.
Have we addressed the O-line at all? Just
Harrison
for depth?
Bryant.
We got Nick Harris.
Okay.
Who?
Harrison Bryant. That's standing out to me as kind
That's
of.
what I'm saying.
Value.
Like I think if you're trying to take best available, why wouldn't you try and route? Because I mean, they played with 3 tight ends last year, so what's to say that they wouldn't want to go in?
I mean,
with 3
take
again?
him here in the 5th round. I think that's a good value. So I like Harrison Bryant too. I mean, personally here, he's probably about my tight end 4. Again, getting him in the 5th round here is a good value. So
yeah, I think he's significantly better than these other tight ends.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Parkinson, but again, Harrison Bryant's just a tier above him in my opinion. So
yeah,
let's do it. It's a good draft overall. I mean, we filled up a lot of holes, got good players. Let's just roll. We should have that was our 5th rounder. So we don't pick until the 7th. So I mean, we could look like doubling down on a receiver at that point. Like
we'll go to quarterback.
If James Prosh is available there, like I wouldn't even mind taking him as well.
Do you guys have a backup quarterback?
Cooper Rush just got signed for another year.
Imagine being Cooper Rush and getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, there's nobody here.
Well, McDonald, man.
Meh, I hate him.
He can sling it.
Yeah, but he's literally such a douche.
Lamar Jackson.
We got a long way to go. I don't even know. I think if you see, I think Prochet at fucking 236 is outrageous.
I'd take Prochet.
The guy's gonna slide in right away and have great production just because he has experience.
And then Tyler's boys at
Lawrence Cager. Okay, yeah, whatever.
I think Prochet's the pick here. 7th round, 231.
Lock it in.
I mean, backup slot receiver easily.
Might be better than Edwards.
No.
Mike Tagliere compared him to Antonio Brown.
Prochet.
Or sorry, not Tags. Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report compared him to Antonio Brown.
I mean, I'd rather he's 24, but like, I don't know. Like, you can take a guy like Brian Edwards and take the risk, but I don't know why you wouldn't just take him and get the safe output for sure.
For sure.
All righty, so that is the Cowboys draft. We'll recap it here. So we got Zach. We traded back to get Zach Bond and Nick Harris ultimately from the trade, but we got Zach Bond, Damon Arnett, Brian Edwards, Nick Harris, J.R. Reed, Harrison Bryant, and James Prochet. So ultimately we filled every single need this team needed. They need kind of, I think, one piece at every spot on their defense just to kind of, because they just took the hits. Obviously, they had too dirty cap space, so I think we did a good job of making an attempt to round the team back out in order to win the division with 8 wins. What do you guys think?
Yeah, okay. We're winning 11 this year.
Okay.
What do you mean? We went 1-7 in one-score games last year. That's just bad luck.
Give it a grade. Give it a letter grade, and then we'll wrap this up.
I'm thinking about a B+, A- here again. Like, not like my absolute favorite draft that I've ever seen, but definitely filled up a lot of holes. There's a lot of players I like there. Again, like B+, A- would probably be my spot. To be fair, though, like an A+ would probably be getting a guy like Kinlaw or getting a guy like one of those receivers to fall at 17. But obviously, that's not obviously it's an ideal scenario, but it's not to be expected. So, what are your guys' thoughts on grade here?
I don't know. I think Zach Bond's a good player. I just think they really, really need a corner. You can't. I mean, you can't roll into the season with 3 sort of cornerback twos. It just doesn't work out that way. So I think that's definitely a huge need, especially in the division they're in. They got to go against Terry McLaurin, probably Alshon Jeffrey, or another Eagles receiver. Then you have to go against, I mean, all of the Giants' weapons. I just think that you have to have corners. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Cowboys do have good corners. They just don't have like the alpha that Byron was. I mean, I like Cheeto. I like Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, and I feel like Arnett can step in right away. At the very least, be your outside corner 1 or corner 2. So, again, I don't see much of a differentiation. I mean, I love Gladney, but taking Bond and Arnett, I think, is more valuable than taking just Gladney and whatever edge rusher would have been available in the second.
For sure. Round. I'd give it a B+. Bush, give your grade, and then we'll wrap this up.
I give it a B+. I think we did a good job filling out needs. I don't think we got like extreme value anywhere.
Yeah.
I think I didn't know Kristian Fulton was on the board in the first round before we traded back. I think I might have picked Kristian Fulton if I knew that. But other than that, I think we filled out the roster pretty well. It's like Lukas said, I think it is a pretty well-rounded roster in general. I think most of the things that they need, aside from like another corner, was like their biggest need to me. Was a lot of just depth and kind of a youth injection at most of the positions, especially on defense.
Awesome. Well, so this is the Cowboys 7-round team mock draft. The Giants will also be out today, so make sure to check that out. For Danny, Bush, and me, we're out of here.
Peace.
All right.